If you'd have told me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, I'll be sitting here with you on this like, yo, I didn't see this coming. That's the left hook to call. My name is Kevin Hopkins, and I've been the owner and operator of Kev's Barbershop for over 30 plus years, 35 years. I was at 2 shops prior to opening my own shop, and eventually it led me to become having a vision of how I wanted to do my own shop. It was very important that I did it a certain type of way. So the first shop I was at, it was on San Pedro in Florence. A young man named was Bradley, and he specialized in jerry curls. And I was young, had no really experience in barbering at that particular, in a shop environment. I had cut hair before, but not really having that shop experience. It's a different transition. And the second shop I went to was Oasis Barbershop in Venice, California. Brother Roland is a young man that I worked with, and I was there for a couple of months. Where I got a little bit more shop experience where I understood how to operate in a shop and how to build clientele, the beginning part of how to build clientele, but still green. The distance I was driving from Florence and San Pedro to Venice, California. I was starting over in life, and I was like, my car I had was a V8, we were driving a lot of gas, and I was barely making gas and lunch money at that time. So it was a very difficult point for me to make that commute, and I wasn't really making any money, you know what I mean? So the reason how I ended up leaving there is because it didn't make sense for me to stay there. The price point and the location and the drive was like factors and reasons why I left. The Venice, California area is a tight-knit community, and my mom used to volunteer over there as well, reading at the library with the food program, and Brother Roland, like they would have community dances and stuff like that. So as a part of being in that experience, it kind of like segued me into Lloyd's Barbershop, knowing how I wanted to have an environment that I didn't see growing up. You know what I mean? It wasn't a shop like the one I created when I was growing up that I felt comfortable in, that people could come and feel comfortable. So when I went to Lloyd's Barbershop, you know, I went there after experiencing Brother Roland's shop, knowing that I wanted to do my shop a certain type of way. So I prayed about it, I wrote about it, I wanted to do it a certain type of way. Before I even started Lloyd's Barbershop, I had in my mind a vision how I wanted to do it. And when I got to Lloyd's, I'm like, okay, I had to buy my equipment, I had to, you know, buy my barber chairs, I had to have my cabinets made, and it was just like, I had to do it a certain type of way. And working in the community, starting at the basis, not having no clientele, trying to build, you know, you're the new guy on the block, don't nobody know you. So you're just trying to build. And so your work ethic, showing up on time, being professional, doing your best job is how people get to know you. And in that environment, you know, it was just survival of the fittest. You have to know how to put your best foot forward and handle your business and do your best and keep pushing. For me, it was a very, good starting point because Lloyd was a good person who helped me and accepted me where I was at, and I treated Lloyd, respected Lloyd's shop, and I treated it like it was my own shop. And as a result, me and Lloyd had a great relationship and friendship, and a lot of people thought me and Lloyd was related because of how I took care of the shop. I knew when I started Lloyd's, I wanted to open up my own shop in a 10-year period, and I left in between 7 and 8 years of being there, and then I opened up my own shop. This next year will be 25 years here, and about 7, almost 8 years there. And between the other 2 shops I was at previously, I've probably been doing this here for a little change. You know, I don't want to get a number, I'm trying to tell my age. I'm still trying to pull off from 35. Right. It's mine. First of all, I grew up in this type of environment, and people on the outside will see the gangs or the crime or the negative things about our community that highlight, but they don't see the mothers who's baking cakes, or the church that's helping people get buried, or the pastor that's, they only see the negative things that exploit. It's a lot of good people that vouch for people, helping get jobs, mentoring, a lot of young brothers who mentor coaches, the grassroots process of our community has always been there. It just never was highlighted, you know. So for me, being on the front line, working in the barbershop, you could to meet and develop and cultivate a relationship with those people. And it's, you know, when you're going through stuff, they helping you and you helping them. It's a process of a quilt where everybody's coming together and playing their part. But there's a certain warmth that's generated from that quilt, you know what I'm saying, that I see that most people probably don't see. You know what I mean? It's a lot of young men that started off with gangs, didn't want to gangbang. It was just a security thing. And when you show them another way, you show them other options. And they tell me, Kev, I wish I was somebody who would have told me this, man. I wish I would have, you know, and some brothers changed their life and some people had a different route because of the impact of the barbershop. And so for me, you know, I'm gonna love you regardless of where you at. You mine, you know what I mean? That's my line. I say, you mine, I'm gonna love you regardless of what you're doing. But I'm trying to show you the right way. Because I've seen a lot of young brothers lose their life. And if my life can help somebody else change it, because somebody poured into me, I'm the product of a lot of people helping me. And when I think about that, when I was a kid in Kansas City, you know, I had a lot of people sponsor me for camps, sponsor me at toy drives, book backpacks, food programs. So I'm really just doing the same things that was done to me, man, to help me. So if people just do the same thing, man, like when you've been the blessing of somebody else's help, if you just pay it forward, the community gets better, man. And you know what the community needs, man. You know what's missing. So if you just be that part, when God elevates you to a certain level, to have the resources, you just play your position, man, our community gets better. The hardest part about starting a business, startup capital, and if you don't have the money, you got to work and save to create that money. You know what I mean? And that means you have to sacrifice. It's deferred gratification. It don't happen overnight. It happened because you worked, you saved, and you reinvested back your money in your community. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people make the money, they don't reinvest back in their community, invest everywhere else. But other people reinvest in your community. And so that's where the change happened. That's when gentrification happened. You know what I mean? But when we love our community, when we love the people in our community, it's easy to have a food program. It's easy to have a toy drive. It's easy to have a backpack giveaway because you are becoming the oil on the chain that's helping somebody else. Smooth ride. My goal and desire is to train young men and women, because it's a barbershop and salon, that can keep it moving forward. You know, the legacy of it is that it don't stop when I stop. You know, to have people that have that same love for the community. You know what I mean? It's different when somebody comes from outside the community and work in the community, and people who live in the community work in the community. You know what I mean? So I live, work, shop, do everything in my community. So this is my community. I go to church here, I shop here, I live here, and so I'm invested in my community. You know, I think for people who live, work, and have that mindset, you know, it's seeing that same love move forward, you know what I mean, to make our community great. See it continues to where everybody, even though the demographics changing, I still see it as a beautiful thing, man, because you have people coming with also resources that's helping our community, you know what I'm saying? And for me, it's a beautiful thing. I don't care who helped me if I'm bleeding, just help stop the bleeding, you know what I mean? So if people come in with the intent to help build a community and work together, that's beautiful. But if somebody coming in who's trying to change the fabric, trying to change the culture, that's when I have a real issue. You know what I mean? Like, don't try to exclude us from that process. So it's growing together and helping the resources to help our community continue to grow. What makes Kev's Barbershop special to me is I greet everybody to come in. In my mission statement, it was providing a clean, safe, wholesome environment where people can come and feel comfortable. That was important to me. Outside of that, everything from the pictures to the magazines to the books, everything was intentional. You know what I mean? From the colors. I wanted to create a warm environment that highlighted our community, that, you know, that inspired to have good music on. So when people came in, the music was right. You know, I listened to KGLH. You know, I love Stevie Wonder and his radio station. And I liked the whole thing. And I grew up with a station like that in Kansas City called KPRS. Now you just come in, you just come hanging out with your people, just having a good haircut, having a good time, talking about sports, whatever. You know what I mean? Now the service is just a bonus. You know what I mean? But before the time you come in though, you just here chilling, man. And you at home with your family chilling. That's how I wanted to feel. Quality service at a fair price. That was one thing that I wanted because of not trying to exclude anybody who wanted to get a good haircut. You know what I mean? So I stood behind everybody who worked in my shop. The quality of my shop, the quality, the craftsmanship of my shop was very important to me. A part of me giving back to my community was to partner with whoever was trying to make my community better, right? And regardless of what you was doing, if you're making my community better, I'm with that, right? You know, that was important to me. And that's from all walks of life. I partnered with UCLA at one time with the high blood pressure screening. It transitioned to me partnering with Cedars-Sinai with high blood pressure screening, the COVID vaccination drives, the food program with my church, Security Missionary Baptist Church, working with the homeless programs, partnering with also the Los Angeles Library with the Read While You Wait program, which transitioned to community bookshelf. But even before I did that, I had books and reading material for kids that allowed the community to have, for the people to come in and have quality reading material. You know what I mean? As they was waiting, that was important to me. And as a result of doing that way, I got recognition. But to me, I could care less about people liking me, how I move. I did it because it was the right way to do it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Yeah. If you come, feel welcome. Just any time you come, you at home and leave all that funny dirty stuff outside. You know what I mean? Other than that, that's a beautiful experience, man.